Okay, so we are going to take one board and split it up into two boards. Sounds like a pretty simple procedure, but there are definitely some things you need to keep in mind while doing it. And those are what I will explain as we go through the process. Okay, so for the purposes of this tutorial, we're going to be using one of my secret boards, which is called Home Stuff. Now, before we get to the actual doing it part of things, there's one thing to know about editing and deleting boards. So there's two ways that people can follow you on Pinterest. They can either follow your full account, just like click follow, done, following all your boards, and that's this follower number here. There's also another way that people can follow you, and that's by individual board. So when you look at your individual boards, let's open up a couple of different ones here. You will notice that they probably all have different follower numbers. So, well, these two have the same. So these two both have 803 followers. But this one has 819 followers, and my actual account has 1,032 followers. You don't really have to think about the differences in followers that often, but just know that if you delete a board and somebody is following you for that board only, you will lose the amount of followers that are only following that board. So say you have 500 followers and 100 of your followers are not following you, they're only following one of your boards. If you delete the board that those 100 followers are following, you will lose 100 followers from this total, which is fine. Obviously, if you no longer need a board, get rid of it. The only reason why I mention it now is because when you're splitting a board, you want to keep the original board and just create a second board to move pins to. You don't want to create two new boards and delete the original board, just because if people are following that board specifically, you will lose them in the process. So, the right way to move pins from a board is let me go out of these extra tabs. Like I said, I'm just going to be creating secret boards for the purposes of this tutorial, but it still works exactly the same. When you do it, you'll just be doing it with real boards. So you've got your Pinterest account open in one tab. You've got your board with the pins that you want to split in another tab. So create your board that you want to move the pins to. So let's say home stuff number 2, very original. Pick the board, create. So now we've got, going back here. So now we've got home stuff, which is our original board, and we've got home stuff 2, which is the board that we're going to be moving certain pins to. So on home stuff, go to the move pins button, click on it, and then click move. Oh, I always do that. Click on it, and then select the pins that you want to move. So let's just say we want to move everything in the 2 top rows. So select the pins you want to move, and then click move. And then go down to your drop down list and find the new board that you just created, which in this case was home stuff 2. Click move. And those pins are gone, and now they're on home stuff 2 instead of the original home stuff. You can also use the copy tool, which will basically just take a copy of a pin off of your first board and copy it to your second board. I don't really recommend doing that though, because all you're really doing is just creating pins with lesser value than if you say repinned a pin between two boards. But just if you take anything away from this video, just be sure that you're not deleting the original board that you are moving pins from. By doing it this way, you will make sure that you do not accidentally remove followers, and you will, organize your account further, which is awesome when people are trying to find specific things.